So I come from an industry which is absolutely one of the most polluting industries in the world. It does more damage to planet than many industries, and it's probably also not very famous for the social justice it brings about. So when this event concept came along, I was like, this is something that I would love to do. Would love to take the audience here through how a brand can, if it wills, to make a difference, to make sure that it designs its systems, its services, its products with an eye to regeneration and sustainability. So Talking Threads, it's a design label. It celebrates culture and fashion and exceptional craftsmanship. We always say, what are we inspired by and what are we moved by? So we're inspired by our tradition, we're inspired by our culture, we're inspired by our heritage crafts. What we're moved by is the modern world, the future of our crafts, and the sartorial dreams of brides and grooms. In reality, we love making beautiful things, but we also want to make sure that whatever we are doing, we do it in a society-positive way. In a sense, we make the artisanal relevant to the modern consumer. We're a young designer luxury brand, and we serve 6,000 customers in over 65 countries. So a young label, and what is it doing, and what does it do every day, and how does it implement regenerative design and sustainability? So, you know, when we all keep talking about sustainability, but regenerative is definitely something which got me thinking that, and this is how I just read about it, that it's a life-conducive, holistic approach to designing products, services, and systems in a more than human world. So what does a fashion design company do to do that, right? Its creative processes must prioritize sustainability, circularity, and regeneration. We must use our creativity to replenish our environment and social justice. And this is something, I'm not putting it out because I'm here, but this is something that as a brand we've always believed in right from the genesis. You know, I read it somewhere that the modernity of our time is sustainability. And as a brand, our DNA is sustainable. Primarily, one, we come from the world of slow fashion, so that itself brings products to market which are rooted in sustainable, ethical design and production. As a company, what we do is that we, you know, when our design teams are charged with collections, these are the principles which must make their tick marks before even a collection can be brought to the approval stage. It must meet the cultural aspects where craft meets modernity. It must have significant artisanal contribution. It must be ethically produced. Very importantly, it must be made to last. It must never waste. At a core level, we have a philosophy which says never waste supply chain. There can never be zero waste, but can we have a design process which even designs out of wastes, right? So that's the level to which we go. Our design always prioritizes local materials, crafts, and communities, and we're very proud of that. Production is minimal impact, it's handwork, it's minimal impact to the environment, very low use of machinery. Social equity, as a company, we prioritize wage standards. I think in the industry, if there was a benchmark done, we'd come out to be one of the highest paying to our craftsmen. We do little things, right, in our DNA. We end up saying that if our artisans were to show us financial proof of having transmitted their child's education fees this month, they will get an additional incentive, right? So right from how we bring about empowerment of our communities and how we design, Sustainability is at the very core. You know, a wedding dress, the first, when this opportunity came along, I said, okay, this is a wedding dress, anyone can argue, is one of the most unsustainable purchases you can make, right? However, we can, even in industries which are considered wasteful, we can prioritize environmentally friendly thinking without compromising the dreams. So these are the kind of questions we ask ourselves. I've already talked about minimal impact to environment. How can we make our manufacturing processes more restorative to the communities and to the environment? We ask, how will the consumer use and care for our products? Does the consumer know how to use and care for the products? Because that would make the products last longer. So as much time we give to the product itself, we also give equal time to talking to the consumer about the caring of that product, making sure it lasts longer than it would have if you hadn't cared for it. We plan product recirculation at the design stage itself, and I'll come to that. We also talk about post-use. So, you know, in regenerative world, we say use and post-use. So after the consumer's need for that product has finished, is there a new life we can give to that product? Can we bring that product back into circulation for someone else's use? So just as an example, that's the first life of a product. We have a program called Second Life. That's the first life of a product where the bride has worn that is going to wear it as a lehenga. The second life of the product, we offer free alteration of the garment into a second life product. If you would bring back the garment to our stores, we would. This avatar has already been pre-conceptualized as a template when we design products, that this could be a second life. And then, okay, you got bored out of that after a little while, come back, and we will do a relove, what we call relove. Now, that's the same dupatta, which becomes a part of a new sharara outfit. So this is not in one singular product. We actually make this a design thesis that use, post-use, circulate, and hopefully we will go towards more shared models as well that we are experimenting. So that's a sherwani first life and how it becomes a jacket for a future use. And we do offer this this is not just a concept, we offer this, and many of our Gen Z bride and grooms today use this program actively. So that was regenerative design, reusing. Repairing, upcrafting, and remaking. This is also part of what we do. So while we our passion is to build beautiful garments, but never ever throw a dress away is something that we actively talk to our consumers. You know, so typically, if you walk into a retail store, I don't think that the salespeople are driven to talk about the next use of this product. But we do talk about it. We say, do you foresee wearing this in some other way, right? Let's think about what that could be. Come back after 6 months. Maybe it's your first anniversary when you come back. So besides the redesign, we do repair. We offer lifetime repair of garments, which is not something which the fast fashion world is basically saying use and throw. And we're saying these are pieces that have been made with love by artisans. It's a part of a cultural association. Make sure that they are made to last, and to back that, because there are going to be problems, right? We repair them at minimal costs. Upcrafted, this is just the reimagination of a new design for the same garment. Remade, you know, there is going to be an end of life for any product. So maybe a beautiful sari, when it really became tattered, could become cushion covers. Right? And we do offer those services. And we're encouraging consumers to be mindful, not to give up. This is not wasteful. Art is not wasteful. But how do you make it more mindful consumption? How do you make it last? Coming to the supply chain, we are 90% a made-to-demand philosophy. We build samples, and we will only build product to an order. We will not inventorize before. So that creates a less wasteful way of producing fashion. We imagine new designs from the textile waste that happens. So one part is designing products to generate minimal waste, and the other part is whatever waste is happening. So as soon as our garments are cut, whatever offcuts are created, the process already sorts it. We have simultaneous sorting into different fabric families and binning, so that the next collection will start dipping into this waste as well. So, you know, this is, I'm an engineer by education. And I do believe that every designer should be an engineer, whether they are designing architectural spaces or they're designing fashion, because we're trained to think how supply chains and manufacturing systems can become more and more efficient, can become more and more sustainable. Transparency, we do encourage our clients to always ask, where was this garment made? Who made this garment? The name of our artisan always goes as part of the product. They are encouraged to see short clips of how the garment was made, so that they are clear that the fashion that they purchase from us, it's not coming at the back of social injustice. It's coming at the back of actually social upliftment. It's coming on the back of raising consciousness towards ethical consumption, production, and reuse of fashion. Inherently, because we are largely handcrafted, nothing can be 100% handcrafted, but inherently, because we are largely handcrafted, this is more than couture. And just knowing the kind of effort that went into the garment makes people stay on with their garments much longer. And I do believe that that's the way fashion must go. Heirlooms is a big part of our clothing line. And once again, the reason I brought out this example is because, you know, heirloom fashion itself, it regenerates itself. The past goes into the present, the same piece is handed on. In my wedding, the dearest garment that I wore 23 years back was actually something that my grandmother's outfit was incorporated into my garment. And it's still, that's the only piece I've actually kept. Everything else has gone somewhere. So by the fact that we revive craft, these heirlooms are anyways regenerative. They are transcending time, right? So the Patch of Love program at Talking Threads, this is what I was talking about, that we encourage brides to and grooms to bring any of the heirloom. Go it's not even in a shape that it can be worn, but we can see how we can incorporate it into the garment, so that that piece did not go to the landfill. It regenerated into the next generation. So yeah, that's what we do. We're making couture future ready. And we do believe that regenerative design is not a trend, it's a movement. We must all do what we can to make this move forward. Thank you.